Welcome today to today's Youth Enquiry Podcast. I'm Emily.
I'm Blake.
This month we're going to be focusing on mental health, and we're delighted to be joined by Tracey, Caven, who's a specialist community public health service for school nursing within the NHS Dumfries and Galloway.
Welcome along, Tracey. We're happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
To get us started, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why?
That's a really good question. So I think I would probably be a cat. And I think that would be because cats are quite resilient. So they can kind of get themselves into kind of sticky situations, but they can come out of them and still be quite confident after that.
That's a good answer.
What about you?
I would be a fox. Because they like to be alone and can be very clingy to the ones they love, but they're also like to be in big in groups.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. What about you?
I'd be a monkey because sometimes they are up to mischief, but they are very good animals.
That's a good answer.
Can you tell us about what a school nurse is and more about your role?
Yep, of course. So a school nurse, so like you said, we're specialist community public health nurses. So basically what that means, because it's quite a big long title, isn't it? So what that means is we've done extra training. So we started off as nurses and then we did extra training, which then puts us on another part of the nursing register, okay? And it just gives us an extra qualification. So what we do is we're in schools and we're supporting young people with lots and lots of different things. So it can be anything under the umbrella of emotional health and well-being, or it can be under risk-taking behaviours. So most of our referrals and most of the support that we do is around sort of emotional health and well-being, to be honest with you. But as I say, we can cover lots of things like sexual health, for example, substance misuse we can support with. Sometimes our support is sending you in the right direction. So it might not be that we're giving you that one-to-one support. It might be that we're saying, okay, this is the service that can help you. But, it's always worth asking the question, and we can usually point you in the right direction.
When would a young person get referred to a school nurse?
So a young person would be referred to the school nurse if they were experiencing, say, for example, anxiety, and that can be in lots of different areas of their life. We know that everybody experiences something like anxiety, for example, because it would be, it'd be strange if we didn't, because we all experience that. It's a natural emotion. But if it's becoming a problem and this is just an example of one thing, they might want to go and speak to, see, their pupil support teacher, and the pupil support teachers are really, really good at getting in touch with us and referring through. They can self-refer as well. There's actually a school nursing referral on the CAMS website as well. So you can just go into that and refer through there, or you can self-refer through a number that's the school nursing self-referral line, which you can find on there as well. You can be referred through your GP, you can be referred through your parents. There's lots and lots of different avenues for referral into the school nursing service. And as I say, we have a lot of priority areas, 10 in total actually. So basically the thing that we would always say is, if you feel that you've got an issue or something that's just on your mind, go and speak to someone about it. And if they can get in touch with us, and if we can't help, we can certainly point you in the right direction.
Thank you for the answer.
When would a young person engage with a school nurse?
So we're kind of getting out there more and more. So we're doing things like Do the Right Thing. Have you heard of that before? So that's something that we do in school to specific age groups, where we link in with police, and sexual health, for example. We come in and do a wee bit of a presentation on different subjects in the school. So we're linking, young people are engaging with us that way. We're also doing health zones as well in school. Now, they can look different from school to school. So each school, each secondary school in the region has a school nurse. But there's not just us, there's deputy charge nurses, and we've got assistant practitioners as well. So when we do things like Do the Right Thing, or when we do health zones, you might see, other people being involved, so other health services as well. And the health zones happen usually about once a month at the moment, and that gives young people the opportunity to come to us and speak to us. But overall, basically, a young person can engage with a school nurse when they need to, is the message we want to get across. If you feel that we would be able to support you, and it's led by yourselves, we would always discuss the support with you to begin with. We wouldn't be doing anything, nothing would be forced at all. You'd very much be part of that support. So we would just encourage you to come and speak to us. Yeah.
Thank you for that. We've been seeing a lot of people on social media platforms giving advice. How would you navigate that for the right advice?
I think that's a really, really good point. And yeah, I think definitely health advice, I think since TikTok came along, health advice is on the up, isn't it? There's lots of people on there giving advice on, this is what I'm experiencing. And actually, social media can be a really, really positive platform for raising awareness. But there's a pitfall in that as well, where I think if you've used things like TikTok, for example, the minute you've watched a video, it then says, oh, this person's, this is what they're interested in. So it tends to bring those videos up quite a lot. So you end up have you ever heard the term doom scrolling? When you're scrolling away for ages and ages and you're getting the same stuff. And quite often some of that information's maybe not accurate. So I would always advise you to kind of seek out advice from maybe your GP or from a school nurse, for example, from a professional before you kind of take something completely on board, because quite often it's not completely accurate. But as I say, there's positive elements to it as well, because, it's raising awareness of different issues and yeah.
Like the yin yang sign.
Sorry?
Similar to the yin yang sign. I can't say it. Yin yang sign. That's it.
Sorry?
The peace sign. That was it. Where it's half good and half bad.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think that's a really good way of describing it, isn't it? So, yeah,
you always get the bad side of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's social media on the whole is like that, isn't it? Because I think as well, it's really good for communication. So you can communicate really, really well with your friends and things like that. But then if you're on it too much, I think we all know, and we've all fallen into that trap, haven't we? Where we're on social media a wee bit too much, it can make you feel a bit rubbish sometimes. So it depends on what you're looking at. And I think it's important as well on social media to understand that when you see a picture of someone with an absolutely lovely clean house, for example, they've probably shoved a pile of washing to the side. So things are not quite as they seem a lot of the time as well.
Last question. What would your top tips you give to young people on how to look after their health and well-being be?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that always pops into my head when I get asked that question is sleep. And I think the thing is, young people, like round about your age, for example, like how much sleep do you guys get, do you think, in a night?
I get about 8-9 hours.
Do you? That's pretty good, actually. What about you?
Depends on the weekends and stuff, but more 8 for school, and then 9-ish kind of for the weekends.
Good. That's pretty good, actually. And we should be aiming for that kind of 9-10 hours, really. But we know that doesn't always happen. And do you ever find that when you don't have that much sleep that you feel a bit kind of low the next day, or just feel like you can't quite get moving?
No.
Yeah. So having sleep allows your brain, because your brains when you're teenagers is, they're working really, really hard. They're making new connections all the time. So you need to sleep to allow your brains to rest and to learn those new things. And then you're able to learn better the next day and to communicate with your friends and things like that. So sleep's really positive. Eating well, eating a balanced diet. And I could sit here and say, yep, you need to eat all your fruit and vegetables, and everybody's going to go, yeah, but you probably won't, because at your age you're allowed to have a snack, you're allowed to have a treat, but it's just being kind of mindful of, okay, let's keep it balanced, try and keep things healthy. Like, so how many times a day do you guys eat in general?
Oh, I eat at school. I don't get anything at interval,
Okay.
and I only get lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of about 3 for it, but the 4 is kind of just like a small snack.
Okay. How many times a day do you think you should eat?
3 big meals and then a snack if it's not enough carbs or like enough nutrients in the meal.
Yeah. So the best kind of way to describe it, I always think, is to try and have breakfast, which I know not everybody does, but breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, and it keeps so that food's like putting petrol in a car. It keeps the car going, so your brain's like the car. So it's just giving your brain that wee bit of fuel to keep going and keep learning. So yeah, eating and then communicating with people who can support you, supportive friendship groups, supportive people in your life, adults. That's always good for your mental health and well-being. So sleep, diet, and just, being with people. And it's taking time on your own as well. I think it's quite important to know that when you want to spend time on your own, that's okay too. Sometimes we need that space. And a lot of the time we've got people saying to us, oh, but you're not out tonight, what's wrong? It's okay to have that time with yourself. That's fine too.
That's fine. Thank you for being with us. We enjoyed talking with you. Before we finish up, we would like to know what you love most about your job.
That's a pretty easy one, actually. It's working with you guys. So working with young people. I really I get lots out of that. I'm one of these really annoying people that really, really likes their job. And that's because I get to speak to people like you every day. I like working with other school nurses as well. I like working with other members of other teams as well. It's really good to get other ideas on board because it helps us get better at what we do as well, and helps us get new ideas and helps us support young people. So yeah, working with young people, 100%.
And to finish off, is there any tips to young people out there that might be considering a job as a school nurse?
Yep. I would say, yeah, absolutely. It's a great job. It's really fulfilling. You'll get a lot out of it. What I would say is, not just with school nursing, with any job, is there's no wrong path. So when you're feeling a wee bit stressed around about exam time and things like that, if things don't quite go your way at that point, there's always other paths for you. You don't have to be absolutely perfect the first time round. There's other ways in. So if that is your goal to become a school nurse, then you absolutely set your mind to it and you can do it.
Thank you for the answer. That's the end of today's podcast. We want to thank Tracey for joining us today. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms for next week's episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow us to keep up with more podcasts.